seen here in Korea.
So the Vi is interesting for me because the mid laner's going to have a lot of priority with the Corki, and that's going to be a Kali in the top lane unless we see something wonky like Deft going on the Corki down in bottom lane. And so the Vi, though, is going to have an awfully hard time going into SK Telecom. They still didn't pick their support, and so now the Braum ends up coming in. There is massive amounts of CC and defensiveness on the side of SK Telecom that makes me ponder how exactly is Vi going to delete any of these champions or truly threaten them. As SK Telecom, they lock in the Varus Braum down there in bottom lane, so they will have poke available to them in the form of Jason Varus if they want it, but also massive amounts of engage and defensive ability. As Xayah now being hovered by Kingzone, instead they're going to move it over to Sivir right at the very end.
Very interesting to finish up that way. Does mean that they can get into that fight real quick, as well as escape from some of the engage that SKT does have. It allows Vi, a champion that can, wants to get into that backline and engage, just a little bit more potential to close the gap.
Definitely very interesting team compositions here. I have to think, though, that moving out of the draft phase, that SK Telecom are just in such a better position here. And the reason that I say that is Corki, we can see Pawn opting for the cleanse there in mid lane. SK Telecom, they have such power in all of their lanes. Clit is just going to have so much more freedom than Cuz in this early into mid-game transition. And then the late game that Kingzone have going for them isn't super powerful when you think about how their comp is going to come together against the SK Telecom team composition. As we look at the team comps one more time, Varus, Braum, Lissandra, Jarvan the Fourth, and Jace. They have a lot of gears available to them. They have massive mid-game wake-up, and the defensive tools that they have available is very good against the Vi and Akali on the side of Kingzone, but we can talk about what Kingzone's trying to do here as we take a look at their draft. Akali, Vi, Corki, Sivir, and Tahm Kench, they're looking to go late, which is a little bit interesting. They're looking to come online at 3-4 items. They're going to try to have priority in mid lane as bot is going to be an island, and Vi's going to have her work cut out for her.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. I'm really excited to see how that Vi is going to work here as we hop onto the Rift for game number 1 of SKT versus Kingzone to start off this best of 5. Off we go on a magical journey into this best of 5. We saw the analyst predictions from the analyst desk. It was 3-1 from Captain Jack, and I believe it was 3-0 from Bitdory. But I was actually thinking 3-2 for SKT. It's hard not to favor SKT, especially the last time these two teams did face each other. It was a 2-0, and it was quite one-sided to the side of SKT. So even though Kingzone did demolish Damwon, does feel like they have a new beast in front of them.
Well, I'm definitely not going to rule out the possibility of a 3-2 occurring, but I will say that I think that if SK Telecom go up 2-0, I think it's going to definitely be a 3-0, but I wouldn't say the same for Kingzone. I think if Kingzone got up 2-0, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for SK Telecom to come back. And that's just basically a read on how the team has conducted itself under pressure or when things aren't going their way sometimes inside of the games. So we'll have to see what is going to happen here. Faker actually has a relatively good first wave upon mismanaging it a little bit. And Cuz has the Aftershock on Vi.
Yeah, I'm definitely a proponent of if your champion can use Aftershock, you should use it, as it's pretty strong. It's a good rune for sure. She is going to be the only one on their team that has it. Of course, Lissandra will also pick it up, as we do have the runes there at the bottom. Anything strike your eye? Anything interesting there, Alice? As early flash actually does come out, as Def was saying they should be winning in that bottom lane, but already he had to flash.
Yeah, already things are starting off on a little bit of a rough foot. And in mid lane, people are picking Corki against the Lissandra, but the way that people are piloting him inside of the mid lane, as well as you can see here that Pawn has to take the cleanse, things just aren't looking that good for the Corki. And he's going to need to make me a believer here in this game, as already SK Telecom's lanes are doing exactly what they want to do without much pushback. And you can see from the HP and the mana bar in mid lane that Faker is very, very happy with this current lane state. He actually could have shoved out this wave a lot faster, used all of his mana and recalled and found himself with a cheater recall as the cannon wave.
Oh boy.
It's gone. And bottom lane getting very frisky down there as Cuz has elected for a full clear. And I like this. He recognizes he can't do anything in mid or top lane. There's no point in trying to gank. The only type of gank that he would be able to get away with would be a pressure gank. But there's a lot more that has to align for those type of things to work.
We did see the last time that Vi was played, it was by score in 2015. 1,318 days ago. And I did not expect today to be the day where it does come in, but Cuz, once again, bringing out all those pocket picks and weird stuff here, is going to start us off with a treat.
Everything seems to be even in the mid lane right now, although Lissandra does have priority as Cuz is continuing his route for a full clear, elected for the red smite very early on, as well as 2 control wards. So that tells me that he thinks that his laners are going to be able to get some priority in coming minutes so that those aren't entirely useless buys, as Klid is now pathing towards the left-hand side of the map.
What are your thoughts on this Varus pick? We haven't seen it all too much. I think it's seen about 12, 13 games so far in all of spring, which is actually not that much. There were a bunch of other picks on the table, but then Ezreal was banned alongside of the Callista and Vayne. So I suppose the choices were kind of taken down a notch.
Well, the Varus pick is something that used to be popular. It tends to dip in and out of popularity. And the reasonings as to why, I'm not entirely sure. He's an extremely powerful pick that is able to get lane priority on a whim if he really needs it. He has the flexibility, being able to go into the lethality Varus or the attack speed on hit one. And so I think against this team composition, this is still the patch where I believe Wit's End not changed yet. So we will have the magic resistance via the Wit's End and able to amplify not only his but Lissandra's damage as well later in the game. I do believe that he should just be going for the attack speed on hit Varus. Although he looks like he wants to go Blade of the Ruin King first item, which is a little bit surprising because there's no tanks on the side of Kingzone.
For both of them up in the top lane, but Khan is out of mana and he flashes to the left side. First blood goes over to Rascal in the solo kill in top lane.
Yeah, without even having to expend his flash either.
Yeah.
Khan is now really far behind in the top lane after having secured himself a beautiful lane state with Cuz in such close proximity. This is going to be teleport for teleport, and Khan's going to have to fade a gank now. This is an absolutely terrible spot for the SKT top lane.
You can see he gets hit by the mini stun, and after that just didn't have the mana. Walks down into the river, and then can't flash to safety to even get a flash either out of Rascal. So just felt like a little bit of a misread and a misplay, and Rascal just jumped right on him. Said, okay. And something about a tri-brush, but seems like the team is in high spirits, and they should be after taking on Damwon and now getting first blood against SKT.
And so Cuz didn't actually elect to gank top lane right away, and so Rascal, coming off the teleport, he has the Seeker's Arm Guard and Amp Tome as well. Klid gonna go for a lane gank here against this Akali, as it looks like they want to guarantee that Khan is gonna be able to get plates on this Jace. No one else really able to secure themselves any plates across the map, and so this plate is going to offset some of the disadvantage that was incurred by giving up that first blood here in top lane.
We also did have Rascal starting Cloth 5. He had used all of his potions by the time he hit level 6. And I suppose that is one way to get through that Jace lane and hit level 6 and open up a chance really to get on top of him, as now Cuz is hiding in the pit here. He is level 6 and waiting for that scuttle, but...
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Oh, he's gonna...
Oh, he misses him, and
yeah.
Now it's going to be 1v2 as he's in a bunch of trouble. Going to get knocked straight into the Jarvan. Nice knock up there by Cuz. Is going to flash, but the red buff is going to take him down. See you later. As it looks like it wasn't actually the red buff. Maybe the smite comes in, but either way, down in the bottom lane, more aggression coming out of Teddy and Mata. Nearly able to take Tucson out.
And the thing about this aggression is it comes at such a good time, as 5 spellcasters now will be on the side of SKT. And so they have the option to permanently freeze it, but they don't seem like they want to take that. Looks like they just want to crash it. And so now, because Deft is sticking around, he should be able to get the wave. Faker alone is not going to be able to threaten a dive, and so feels like a little bit of a blunder by SK Telecom. Deft didn't have teleport available. He was completely out of mana, and you could have just froze on him because you had more spellcaster minions on a cannon wave, and they elected to push thinking that Faker alone would maybe be able to threaten a dive, but he couldn't, as Pawn was trailing him in very close proximity. And so even though they found themselves with a fantastic trade, the rewards just aren't as high as it could have been.
Absolutely, as Cuz thinking about helping up on the top side, doesn't have his flash or his ult yet, though, so would have been hard to make it stick, even with Khan and no TP. As Faker going in for this one, the cleanse is going to be burned immediately by Pawn, so he's going to be totally fine.
And so for some people looking at this right now, they might think, well, why would Faker do that if Pawn just has cleanse? They're obviously not going to be able to kill him. This is to set up for the future, as Faker's ultimate is going to come online faster than Pawn's cleanse will. And so, in a moment's time, eventually Faker's going to have that ultimate again, and Pawn is going to have to play very differently inside of the laning phase. So that ult was not intended to kill him, but it was intended to set up the kill a few moments from now.
Yeah. Also had Jarvan nearby in case Pawn wanted to get really frisky and go on in there, as once again, Khalid is heading up towards the top side. He's level 6 now, level 7 in total, so does have the ability to throw that ult down, but it is an Akali with flash, so could be hard to lock her down.
I think Rascal should be good enough to read that Khalid's in close proximity off that. That hammer form play by Khan just now really doesn't make any sense for the lane manipulation. And you can see that Rascal didn't take the bait, so excellent by him. Had he started and initiated a trade right there, things could have gone a little bit ugly. But I think that it was read as Khan definitely being out of character. The story was not congruent with how he had been playing the lane up until this point. And you can see, yeah, he senses something is amiss in top lane with the way that Khan is choosing to play these minion waves now.
This is a second control ward that got deep into the blue side jungle, and the second one that is going to be cleared out. So Cuz doing a good job of making sure that he is not seen. We do have this first Drake that is a mountain, which could be really nice, actually, for both of these teams. See who jumps on that first.
I think if Kingzone end up getting it, it's not as impactful as if SK Telecom get it early, and the reason that I say that is because Kingzone's team comp doesn't come online until way later, so they're not in the market for turrets or trying to burst down a Baron at 20 minutes, especially not when they're already behind at this stage of the game. Whereas SK Telecom, they really need that mountain to threaten those very things and make sure that they can continue to accelerate against this Kingzone team comp.
Yeah, you can
yeah,
see
they're gonna get it for free.
Yeah, doing exactly that. You talked about the cleanse down. It allows Faker to have more priority in mid, and also bottom lane is going heavily in SKT's favor. So they just walk into the river, clear out a couple of wards, and take it for free, essentially, as Kingzone are not going to bite the bait on taking any fights just yet. That's coming on in here as Rascal, always threatening now any kind of play. Was able to get the solo kill before Gunblade, obviously, but did have to delay it to pick up that arm guard just to survive a little bit better against all the Jace damage.
Now here in mid lane, Pawn has to be a lot more respectful of any claws that end up coming out, but he will have the cleanse available now, as Faker is looking to recall. Call was completed, though, by Pawn, so that's going to offset some of the CS gap currently present inside of the mid lane. And aside from that, Kingzone are only down 700 gold. They are down a mountain with a second one spawning. That is really unfortunate, to be completely honest. Double Mountain Drake that early on into the game, it enables macro rotations that you aren't normally supposed to be able to get away with. And it can be very frightening for the enemy team to dance around certain objectives, because it really just completely twists the way that the map can really be played. So SK Telecom, they're rolling like gods right now.
They really are. One of the only RNG aspects of the game, but it does go in their favor this time around, as now Cuz going on this one. The package was picked up, and already the damage is really big onto Glid, who is quite low, and now down on the bottom side. Cleanse comes in, but Deucin might have to flash this. Is going to get stunned up, and they're just going to kill him before he can even get out of there or use the Grey Hell, as just the straight-up 2v2 kill on the bottom side, but the Rift Herald does go the way of Cuz and Kingzone.
Yeah, and it was a straight-up 2v2. Kingzone, they end up getting the Rift Herald, but one of the sad things about it is that the turret plates have already gone down. So Shelly, unfortunately, is just going to be able to get some dents onto one of the turrets. The unfortunate thing as well for Kingzone is that all of the turrets are extremely healthy, because Kingzone has never been able to push them. Oh, this is going to be potentially a play, but Tushen able to use the Abyssal Voyage to get back, and close proximity to the lane ends up dissuading Faker and friends.
Yeah. No wards were there, actually, from what you could see in the Tribrush, so they could have considered it. Now everything's going to be cleared out down in that bottom side. Wards put down, so it might be harder to make that happen. But just take a look at the poke damage that is just getting done essentially for free down in that bottom lane. The Varus pick really doing work for SKT in game one.
Yeah, I mean, Teddy, DCS is okay. 175 here at 15 minutes. I mean, it's all right.
It's okay. It's not as good as Faker's.
Yeah, I'm not as impressed, because we can see there that Faker, a little bit of a lead.
Yeah.
Well, that got taken away.
As
yeah, more pressure being put onto this bottom lane, and this is not what you want to have happening for your Sivir and Tahm Kench, as it looks like first turret is going to go the way of SK Telecom.
Yeah, quite easily as well. They just bring the jungler down. It looks like Cuz now trying to make a play up here on the top side as Rascal's going in.
Constant.
He lands that shuriken.
Yeah, just
and all that Cuz
R.
has to do is wait for it. You also got a Corki. There's the R. He's got a stopwatch, but not sure if that was really worth it, as he's going to die anyway. Down he does go, and another turret goes the way of Kingzone. So with that, they are able to close a little bit of the gap. Now only 1,000 gold behind.
Oh, they're only down 1,000 gold. They ended up getting that top turret. And Khan definitely having a little bit of an off game one here on the Jace. Jace, not the best feeling in the world when you are behind on him. Take a look at how this all ends up happening. Goes for a shock blast recklessly. And the thing that's so surprising about this is that your jungler was just in the blue side jungle of the enemy team. Sivir and Tahm had no help coming. Gee, I wonder where Vi is. That's the question I'm asking. He ends up using a stopwatch for no reason, as all it does is it delays his inevitable death.
Yeah. Doesn't actually gain them anything. The turret goes down for free.
It's a complete waste of the rune.
Yeah. Just sells it immediately. It's like he never even took the rune in the first place. So, and now we're having some trouble down here on the bottom side as Gunblade is completed, and he's down 3 levels on Rascal, who's the, well, not the highest level in the game, actually. That goes to Faker, who's level 13. So, catching up, and it looks like Kingzone now, they're not going to let the second mountain go astray.
Kingzone are showing that they want to fight over this, but all of SK Telecom are here. Faker has TP.
Look at Khan, they're just ganging up on him now as they're all running after him. Not quite able to kill him just yet. Finally they get him. SKT say, we'll just try to take him out. They do not take it as Vi gonna come in for the steal, end the engage. Aftershock gonna keep her alive, and now the flash is on in as Pawn is looking for more. He's able to pick up 1 kill on the end.
And meanwhile, Faker, he's going to pick himself up the top tier 1 turret, but you have to really question what are the priorities for SK Telecom. Giving up that second Mountain Drake, you have to think to yourself, is definitely quite a blunder, but huge credit to Kingzone for capitalizing on the opportunity presented to them. They bully Khan once more, or even forcing him to get a Hex Drinker.
Yeah.
This early on. And you have to just wonder, yet again, what is he doing so far out of position as just another easy pickup for Kingzone, and then they're trying to burst down the dragon, but Cuz ends up telling Clid that he's going to need to check his smite key one more time. And then what a beautiful cancel right there.
Yeah.
Of Jarvan's EQ. Pawn ends up picking up a kill.
Got him, no flash. And everybody's favorite, nicer, comes through as you guys will remember that Pawn was given the kill on the Jace up in the top lane. Picks up a second one now on top of that call. So this guy is actually stacking the cash right now. And that's exactly what Kingzone want for this Corki to get online.
Well, Corki 2-0-1, 200 CS, also has a cull completed inside of him, even though he has sold the item. And so now Kingzone, they find themselves 1.4k behind, but honestly the edge is going to them, at least in the current game state. The damage threat on the 2 carries in mid and top is just not quite there yet, I feel, to nullify the Vi and Akali. And it looks like Khan's about to potentially get bullied again.
Yeah, here we go again. Not even bother to land the shuriken on him, just going on in. Is going to win the trade in the end, but is not going to push under turret just yet. Doesn't bother using his ultimate either. Probably because Khan has flash. If Khan doesn't have flash there, he probably full on goes for it and may even be able to pick up that kill. But also with the Hex Drinker, a little bit too much survivability right now for Khan.
And SK Telecom posturing around in mid lane. They're not really going to have too many options available. With only 1 Mountain Drake, they don't have the ability to just go and try to threaten the Baron and demand that Kingzone come to them. And so Kingzone, they're going to be content playing ping pong in all of the lanes, letting their champions continue to scale up right now. As SKT, they're going to look to clear out vision on the left-hand side of the map. Another mountain coming up in a minute and a half, extremely important for both of these teams now, as we are approaching the threshold where Kingzone's champions do get to punch back. And so double mountain becomes a real thing for them as well. It opens up the possibility to 2-man Baron with any of the carries, and that goes for both of the teams.
It really does. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that because Varus has 2 items, Spike and T's, pretty damn strong. That seems to be the carry here for the side of SKT. Should be Teddy on that Varus, most CS in the game. Only 264 at 21.5 minutes. Not so bad.
It's all right.
Down there.
It's really, it's okay.
Yeah. I don't know where he found the extra minions, but he's got away. Hex-Drinker for him now as well. So he's definitely taking the Akali very seriously if he does get dove in that back line.
Teleports into the mid lane. and ends up placing down one warp. We're getting the ping pong. This is the lull state I like to talk about.
Both these teams just lulling around, as really the onus is on SKT to get something done. Now they will have another very big Drake coming through. That mountain is going to be the next one, as Teddy just casually 1v2ing, had Mata nearby.
I think, yeah, Pawn and Cuz are definitely out of position right now. Doesn't matter if you have home guard, you're way too late to this mountain. SK Telecom, they should just burst it down as soon as it spawns. Dept has teleport. Oh, actually,
Dance on Cork.
He has package. But SKT don't look like they want to just burst it down. So I made a little bit of an error, didn't realize Corky had package available. He will be here in presence. Yep.
It's waiting nearby. You can see that Kingzone now trying to set it up as Rascal comes over the wall, avoids that shock blast.
SKT look like they just want to bring him right down.
Yeah, as Clit and them are just going to go down on the right side. The package gets him out, and the Dragon goes the way of Kingzone, as now they've got double mountain. As playing on mountainous, rocky terrain right now are both of these teams.
Really bizarre movement there from SKT. Rascal is just getting so much aggro from SK Telecom. He's pulling it so well. And so SK Telecom continue to falter as the game draws on. Ocean Drake gonna be the next one coming up. Or as I like to say, Open Drake. No one is gonna consider that a high priority. So it's going to be open for anyone to take here at 28 minutes.
They were rolling so well, and then all of a sudden, Open Drake shows his face. What are your thoughts on the Death's Dance here for Corky? Definitely not an item you see very often. Generally, it's the rapid fire cannon into an Infinity Edge. So mixing it up here is Pawn, and again, it is Pawn. So, you know, we've come to expect that out of this player, but what do you think?
Well, I'm thinking the Death's Dance, well, it was changed many patches ago, so it's all damage now heals you, even though Corky does majority magic. And so it's not just about the physical damage he can do. So he's able to heal up. I suppose that there's some hope on the side of SKT that he can try to heal.
Trying to ultimate now on top of Faker. He's got 4 people. Wait, he does have the stopwatch available. Now TP's coming in. Faker trying to lock him down, but take a look at Cuz in the backline. Nice knockup, though, onto that Akali. Now we're turning it around onto Cuz. He's going to have his own stopwatch, and in goes Pawn onto Khan. Meanwhile, up in the top side, another fight going on here, but nobody is going to die.
And even though there's no casualties inside of this fight, though, the one thing that you have to remember is that Kingzone's members are all really healthy.
Oh boy.
This is a pretty free Baron.
Looks like it as SKT, they're going to cancel some recalls. TP now coming in.
Cuz is getting very low.
Oh boy. Just a couple of spells will do it. Baker's going in.
Baker got caught.
He's going to assassinate him, and the swipe goes the way of Tom Kench as Kingzone take out the Baron. But can any of them live on the backside? Pawn is a god. He's able to take a kill. But just go down.
Kingzone turned it around.
Red buff helping out.
Turn it around on Kingzone. And so now SKT, without Baron on the map, it's no longer going to be an objective for Kingzone. All their members are down. SK Telecom is going to get a massive amount of gold off of this, as well as XP. And we'll see how this is all going. Cuz is taking way too much damage. And so the tanking on the side of Kingzone, not quite the best. Faker comes in, has the aftershock, and comes down to a smite bite. Tushin end up being able to get it right at the very end. Dept goes down with his flash still up. It looked like Pawn was going to get out, but SK Telecom red buff.
His E aggroed it. Look at SKT coaches. They're like, wait, what?
Okay, nice.
Oh, I got it. It's worth it. I got it.
It's worth it. Killed it. Nice. And huge turnaround there for SKT. SKT red buff coming on in big towards the end to get rid of the last guy with Baron. Actually will be pretty big.
You know, it makes me really happy to see that the buffs are finally beginning to get picked up by teams. We have Cloud9's blue buff And then we have SK Telecom now recruiting Red Buff here.
Oh boy, here we go, locking down the Corki now. Can they get into that backline? Clint is gonna dunk him! And there it is, as Tushin not able to get the Devour down. In time to save his life, ends up devouring Devi, and now they're desperately just trying to stop the push.
So they end up getting Pawn right there. That's his second death of the game. And it's important to note that he didn't die at all in the previous series.
Yeah.
And off of that, though, they just continue to get a little bit of gold. They're going to back up and reset, and you can see Pawn just stepping a little bit too far forward. Beautiful by Mata to get the passive onto Pawn. Good ultimate to prevent Thomas from being able to eat him. Cataclysm came in, and Tushin going to have to settle for consuming Cuz. Open Drake coming up in 5 seconds for Valdez.
We got it coming in here.
This is the priority target.
I guess you just wait, right?
Well,
make that Elder spawn?
Yeah, I think that if you're thinking about a pretty good play, you do wait until 30 and just allow the Elder to spawn.
Yeah.
But I think if you're Kingzone, you want to try to take that as fast as possible.
Oh, it's Baker in the back line. He has to, just in desperation, as Cuz is going to go down. It looked like Clid and the boys wanted more, but Baker with a nice play gets over the wall and gets the pick.
SKT, they are going to take it down. We'll see what is going to be the next dragon. Another Ocean Drake. All right. Well, not the most exciting dragons.
And now that Elder is going to spawn much later.
Yeah, the Elder's going to spawn much later, which is going to actually be bad, I would say, for SKT, more so than Kingzone. And so I mentioned how Kingzone would probably want to take down the Ocean Drake, and that's because SK Telecom have a little bit more of usage for it at the current game state than Kingzone, and so Baron is going to be the next major neutral. Feels like the game is really going to come down to that, but at the current game state, I feel like we're beginning to see one of the problems for the Vi and the Akali, in that there's so much defensive utility on the side of SK Telecom that it becomes really difficult for these champions to really provide a lot of value, and so a lot of pressure onto the Corki and the Sivir to get up close and personal, but you don't necessarily want to be up close and personal against some of these SK Telecom champions.
Yeah. I mean, imagine you're a Vi, and I suppose the best target is a Varus. You know, it's going to be pretty hard, but especially hard for the Akali, as Maw, Malmortius, and A Wit's End are going to be completed here up against this Akali. So Varus is half tank in the meanwhile, if she can even get on top of the Varus, which is a difficult feat alone.
Sivir is almost at 4 items. Corki looking like he wants to go for the Infinity Edge next, but I'm assuming that he's ways away from that. 4,000, almost 5,000 is the gold lead here for SK Telecom. 45 seconds until the Baron ends up spawning.
You can see that's what SKT are setting up for, as Baker threatening it up in the top side, but not going to go for it as Clid. Uh-oh, he's going to be locked down for so long. Down goes the GA, as TP's now going to be channeled. Shock Blast comes in. It looks like Kingzone just going to be happy to pick up the GA alone. Yeah,
it's a fantastic trade, though, for Kingzone. They get the Guardian Angel. Clid now very low on HP. He does have that Ocean Drake, though. Look at how effective it really is. Just look at it.
Can't tell it's sarcastic.
Hold on, he's almost gotten 100 HP in the last 10 seconds. All right. It's chugging along.
He's getting there.
It's like molasses uphill in January.
Oh, they're going, actually, right on top of Rascal. The flash in from Baker, and Rascal just lulls in his face and shurikens away. Well, I guess he did have to use his ultimate as well to get out of that one, so. But still a good trade for Rascal.
Red buff, though, being taken on.
Look at Pawn just running at them.
Pawn's playing dodgeball right now.
I actually love this, what you can do. He's going to dodge the ultimate from Varus as well, and now Faker not in the best position here, doesn't have his ultimate, just has the Zhonya's, and he's gonna pay for it as he goes down in the mid lane.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, Valdez. That was...
No analysis on that one?
I got nothing to say on that one.
Okay.
I don't think Faker knows what that was.
I think he's regretting that one a little bit, as the ENT pings are going down onto the Baron, but Kingzone, even after taking out the SKT mid lane, are deciding against.
Let's take a look at Pawn's movement here. He ends up dodging so much of SK Telecom's skill shots, and then Kingzone making the decision to raise the mid-tier 1 turret. Watch Faker take this, and you have to wonder, what was going through his head?
Maybe he thought that Tom Kent was on their team, but that's not the case. As double mountain Barons, they're pretty fast, but they're looking for the turn, trying to get into that backline on top of Teddy, but look at the return from SKT! All the knockups come in, and Fine can't do anything! As Khan is going to be in here, but take a look at Corky. It's actually the Pawn Show at the end of this fight. He's going to crit for the last kill. Not going to be able to get the last one, though, as the ace goes down as Death Dance takes him out at the end.
Oh, man. Khan is going to be the last man remaining in the Death Dance. Ends up killing Pawn at the end. That's going to be another turret. Let's take a look at this. Kingzone. This looks like a pretty free Baron. They elect not to 50-50 it, instead try to turn on, and here is what we're sort of seeing. Akali and Bai can't actually engage onto the SK Telecom team composition despite Lissandra not being present. And this was just a slugfest, as Pawn probably wanted to do a barrel roll right about now.
Yeah. He tried. Right there towards the end, as Death Dance, I mean, it kept him alive against a lot of that engage, but at the end, does mean that he is eventually going to meet his fate, which was the death. But you can really tell now with Infinity Edge that Corky is doing some ridiculous damage, and Teddy, even though everybody jumps on top of him, still gets a triple kill.
Yeah.
It's an 80 carry show tonight.
And right now, Faker, one of the interesting things for me is that despite that full fight, he still doesn't have his death cap. He might have it right now, though. I'll have to see. That's a very big item completion. And so now if you're Kingzone, you're probably saying to yourself, let's just fight before Lissandra gets death cap.
Ooh, looking at Khan here. Looks like he's got Edge of Night. He's going to be jumping on top of ID. Devour does have to come
Teddy.
in as okay. Rascal in the back line, in the shroud, trying to ultimate away, is going to have the Zhonya's here towards the end because going in the back line, trying to do that
what
damage.
Is this fight?
Oh boy, Teddy going to get the first kill as Rascal not going to go down. Faker flashes in, but look at the damage that they're turning back
Rascal.
on top of them. Look at Pawn. He's still alive in the fight, going to take out one more as the double kill also goes to Rascal.
We're watching Street Fighter tonight, Brendan.
Absolute chaos in this game.
What a slugfest it's been the last couple of minutes. Both of these team comps are really going head to head. Just take a look at how this all ends up unfolding, because whiffs on his ability to try to engage onto Khan. Faker came over the walls, couldn't decide what he wanted to do. Tushin ends up getting Cuz to safety. Rascal using that shroud to great effectiveness, goes into the Zhonya's hourglass, has another one to boot. Cuz trying to get onto Deddy, dies.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go again. The fighting never ends in this game. It's only game one, but it's gonna go the way of Morris! What in the world as Teddy with the arrow steals it from downtown?
Teddy might have just saved the entire game for SKT because a poke comp doesn't have much leg to stand on against Baron sieges. But had Kingzone had the Baron, they should have just been able to run over SK Telecom with it. And so now you have to feel so bad if you're a Kingzone fan. These are the worst ways to potentially lose the game.
Imagine getting this close against SKT. The game isn't over, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes as the replay comes in. You see, there are no junglers here.
You can see the exact moment the Kingzone team's heart breaks. Right there, 646.
There is a jungler there at the end, actually, but can't get the smite down. A little bit too slow. Still looking for that smite button as Cuz.
Depth's gum chewing intensifies. And the player
oh my god. He really has that alpaca vibe going for him. As he's trying hard to do that late game carrying as well. You talked about that ticking time bomb on the side of Kingzone. It's 38 minutes into the game now, so really have to pay attention.
That's a deep teleport.
Okay, ult's coming on in here from Kingzone, trying to make it happen, but the Devourer does come in. As Vaughn, they're trying to get him, but the damage is huge from him. Can Faker take him out? No! He's not able to, but the Death Dance will. In the end, as Vaughn, actually Rascal, is going to get a kill on the left side here. Take a look at Teddy. He's going in, and now he's got a front line. Two of them are going to go down as SKT are pushing in the base.
And the package is available for Pawn once he respawns, but that turret was not long for this world. It's going to be Defting Cuz trying to hold this off, but I just don't think you can do it. The Baron minions are going to be too much.
It's 30 seconds until Pawn is going to respawn alongside Tucson. But they're going to have to do it. They have to engage. Click goes in alone. He's going to try to flash away, but he's not going to be able to go down. Clit actually lives barely on the last one, but the Nexus is now open. They're just going to engage straight on top of Deft here. Who's not going to be able to stop it? This is going to be the game, and what a game it was. GG as SKT take the first one.
I like the